An untitled Christopher Nolan movie, Bourne 6, The Agency, The Traitor, Ghost Trail, and more make up this episode of Spy Movie News. We're going to start this episode talking about spy entertainment in development, and then move on to some industry news, and then wrap up with the tip of the hat to some of the industry workers who have passed in the last month. All right, so let's start with upcoming spy entertainment, The Agency. Last year, in our February 28th Spy Movie News, we talked about a show in development called The Department, which was based on the French series Le Bureau des Légendes. We mentioned that we weren't sure if this would be a direct remake of the French series in English, and we told you that George Clooney would direct it. Well, in the last year and a half, a lot has changed, and a lot of progress has been made. First, the series will be called The Agency. Second, it is not a direct redo of the series in English, although this will be in English. And third, George Clooney is listed as one of the executive producers. Fourth, the trailer is out. And fifth, the series will premiere for Paramount Plus users on Friday, November 29th. However, you need the Paramount Plus with Showtime membership plan to stream it then. According to an article on MovieWeb.com, quote, when The Agency begins, the audience meets Fassbender's character after he's been in deep cover on a mission for 6 years. Now he has to adjust to this new season of his life and answer to a higher power, his boss. Gere plays Bosco, the London agency chief with a colorful past, having served as an undercover agent himself. Unquote. All right, so this one looks like it could be good. It's based on an established series and has a very strong cast. All right, let's move on to The Traitor. The movie The Traitor premiered at the Zurich Film Festival. This is not to be confused with the 2019 movie with the same name. In fact, its Swiss name is Landesverräter. Variety.com tells us that this true story tells us of a young man in Switzerland who, seeking to escape the repression of militarization during World War II, falls into the hands of a manipulative German spy. Wow. We've only seen release information for a limited release in Switzerland, and we'll keep you posted if it will be getting a US or UK distribution. Untitled. All right, this one is untitled, but Simu Liu has developed a series for Peacock that stars Simu Liu, Melissa Barrera, Sinclair Daniel, and Brian Darcy James. The official tagline for the series states, 5 minutes in the future, a first-generation American intelligence analyst, Alexander Hale, Liu, realizes his brain has been hacked, giving the perpetrators access to everything he sees and hears. Caught between his shadowy agency and the unknown hackers, he must maintain a performance 24/7 to flush out who's responsible and prove where his allegiance lies. This one sounds intriguing to us, but we haven't seen a release date yet for this 8-part series. Ghost Trail. This upcoming spring, we will get another show based on the true events. This movie debuted at Cannes and will hit the U.S. market in the spring of 2025. The story is about a Syrian refugee who has joined a secret group that is trying to target the fugitive leaders from Syria. The synopsis of this one is, his mission takes him on the trail of his former torturer, spending his days locating the prison guard from his past. With his judgment clouded by pressure, doubt, and revenge, will Hamid be ready to confront him? All right, let's look at Christopher Nolan and what might be his next project. So, this is Christopher Nolan. Not much is known about it. But, that said, Nolan is doing a new movie that has Matt Damon and Tom Holland. Variety speculates that Nolan won't be doing another sci-fi movie, but that this might be a spy movie. So, as usual with Nolan, we don't know much about what he's doing. But the speculation is that it will be something for spy movie fans. All right. One thing we have learned is that the movie is slated to release on July 17th, 2026. Classified. This is one we missed in last month's Spy Movie News. However, in our May 30, 2023 episode, we told you about the movie Classified, starring Aaron Eckhart, Tim Roth, and Abigail Breslin. At that time, we told you that the plot of Classified sounds interesting, Eckhart plays the father. He's a CIA hitman who has been receiving orders for almost 20 years. Breslin is an MI6 analyst who finds out that Eckhart's division was shut down a long time ago. So, who has been giving Eckhart his orders? Well, fast forward a year and a half, and this movie just released on streaming platforms last week in the U.S. So far, you can see it on Amazon Prime Video, Apple Plus, and Microsoft.com. If you have a favorite streaming service, you might want to check, as it looks like they were going for a broad, non-exclusive streaming release. Scorpion. In case you haven't gotten enough of Aaron Eckhart playing a CIA agent, he's picked up a new project called Scorpion. Eckhart's character is a CIA assassin. He has a mission that failed, which forced him to go off the grid. When he reemerges, he has a dilemma that he must resolve. We have yet to see a release date on Scorpion, but we'll keep you posted. The Day of the Jackal. Wow. The movie The Day of the Jackal has been turned into a series starring Eddie Redmayne as the Jackal and Lashana Lynch as a British CIA agent trying to catch him. The first 5 episodes of the series will launch in the U.S. on November 14, 2024 on Peacock. There will be weekly releases after that, culminating in a 2-episode finale on December 12th. In the UK, the series will be available on Sky starting November 7th. We love the 1973 movie starring Edward Fox. This one looks to have a strong cast. Let's hope that writing can support the 10-episode series. Here's a Jason Bourne dilemma. MovieWeb.com has an interesting article that says there will be a 6th movie in the Bourne series. Wow. It is in early development and doesn't have Matt Damon signed off on it yet. However, they have named Edward Berger as the director. Berger helmed All Quiet on the Western Front and the just-released movie Conclave. So, this article is light on specifics like cast and timing. We'll have to wait and see what transpires. Hopefully they will do it, and it will be closer to the first 3 Bourne movies in quality. Into the Lion's Mouth. There's a new project by Radar Pictures to create a movie adapting Larry Loftus's book, Into the Lion's Mouth, the true story of Duško Popov, World War II spy, patriot, and the real-life inspiration for James Bond. We've mentioned World War II double agent Duško Popov in many of our episodes, as he was a real spy and one of the spies who supposedly inspired Ian Fleming's James Bond character. We love the Real Spies and Their Stories movie, and hope this one stays accurate to the stories. We like those types of movies. Think of the Chris Cooper and Ryan Phillippe movie, Breach. However, we don't like when there are major alterations, like in Operation Mincemeat and the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So, we are hoping this adaptation remains true to Popov's story. We're hoping to get Loftus on our show in a future episode. Black Doves. Netflix has a new movie series starring Keira Knightley called Black Doves. This series is set at Christmas time in London and will be released on December 5th, 2024 in the U.S. The basic plot is that a married British agent, Knightley's lover, is assassinated, potentially blowing her cover. She goes out to avenge his death. The cast also includes Ben Whishaw, Andrew Koji, Tracy Ullman, and more. Netflix has already ordered a 2nd season of the series, so they seem to think this one will be good. Agent 86. The movie Agent 86 has been released in Tunisia, but so far international distribution hasn't been fleshed out. This movie is about a task force that has to stop the spread of a lethal narcotic called Devil's Breath. To us, it sounds a bit like the plot of Kingsman, The Golden Circles, or Mission Impossible 2. What is different here is that this is a Tunisian-Chinese project, so it is likely to have more violence than those 2 movies. We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep our eyes open for more about Agent 86 and if it will get a North American or UK distribution. Untitled. Okay, so we have another untitled movie, this time coming to Netflix. And the details are a bit light, so we aren't 100% sure this is a spy movie. The tagline for this movie is, Centered on White House staffers grappling with an impending missile strike on America, this gripping drama unfolds in real time as tensions escalate. So, we don't know if it's a spy movie or something closer to the Gerard Butler Has Fallen movies, but it sounds intriguing, and the cast includes Rebecca Ferguson, Idris Elba, Gabriel Basso, Tracy Letts, and Jason Clarke. Catherine Bigelow will be directing this one. She also directed Zero Dark 30, The Hurt Locker, and 19 other projects. A Line of Fire. The movie A Line of Fire is currently filming and stars Cuba Gooding Jr., David A.R. White, Katrina Bowden, Jason Patrick, and Scott Baio. The synopsis tells us, after working as a secret agent in the FBI for 10 years, Jack Connery, a.k.a. Cash, left it all behind after his wife passed in order to dedicate himself to his 2 daughters. Despite a fulfilling life at home, Cash misses the chance to make an impact and has been considering a return to the force. The decision is made for him when his old partner's niece, Jamie, calls him for help, launching Cash right back into a world of danger, corruption, and intrigue. Again, this is in production, but we haven't seen a release date yet. Red One. Okay, this one is a bit odd, as we aren't sure it is a spy movie, but it feels like it might be. The upcoming movie Red One is about Santa Claus being kidnapped and what happens when they try to get him and save Christmas. Okay. Red One stars Dwayne Johnson, Lucy Liu, and Chris Evans. J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus. That'd be a good role for him. Red One will hit U.S. theaters on November 15, 2024, with a worldwide release happening throughout November. Interesting. All right. Kingsman Blue Blood. Kingsman! Oh, well, this isn't good. An article on HollywoodReporter.com throws cold water on expectations for the third and final Kingsman movie with Taron Egerton as Eggsy. In the article, 20th Century Studios boss Steve Asbell answered a series of questions on upcoming projects. When asked about Kingsman sequels or prequels, his response was, "There's no plans on doing them anytime soon." Oh, wow. This is unfortunate news. We thought that was a franchise that could have legs, and the players could change as Kingsman is an organization, and sometimes their agents die. The third Eggsy movie could have set up the next lead actor, male or female. It was set up to be able to handle change with new agents better than Bond or the Bourne series, and better than Mission Impossible even, really. Plus, we would have loved to see what they did with the bad guy they teased in Kingsman in the end title sequence. So, let's move on to some happier news then. Renewals. We all love to see when our favorite spy series gets picked up for another season, and we have a few to tell you about, so we're happy with these renewals. Slow Horses. Apple has announced that Slow Horses has been renewed for the 6th season, and yes, you haven't missed anything. Season 4 just aired. So this renewal is announced even before Season 5 is done. The Diplomat. Now, moving to Netflix, they have renewed The Diplomat for a 3rd season. This announcement comes just before the October 31st, 2024 release of Season 2. The Night Agent. Another Netflix series to be renewed for a 3rd season is The Night Agent. Once again, this announcement comes in advance of the release of Season 2. This is not surprising, as The Night Agent was Netflix's most watched series in 2023 and 7th all time. The release date for Season 2 of The Night Agent is just listed as winter 2025. We'll keep you updated on this one. The nice thing in terms of timing is that Season 3 will begin filming at the end of 2024, so we are unlikely to have another 2-year wait. Excellent. Reacher. Okay, let's move on to Amazon for this one. The series Reacher, starring Alan Ritchson, has been renewed for Season 4. Similar to what we've seen with some of these other renewals, Season 4 has been picked up before Season 3 has aired. Season 3 is expected to air sometime in 2025. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Sticking with Amazon, fans of the Prime Video series Mr. and Mrs. Smith have been trying to figure out where they can take this series next. This series won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. Did John and Jane die in the last episode? Well, we don't know. But we have heard that for season 2, new lead roles are being cast for a 1-year contract. It doesn't necessarily mean John and Jane died. It just could be additional leads. And we're hearing that Billie Eilish is one of the names being discussed for one of these roles. Aha! This is interesting news, as co-creator Francesca Sloan also worked on Fargo. Fargo had a format where each season had a new story with different characters. Could that be what they are doing with Mr. and Mrs. Smith? We'll just have to wait to find out. Citadel. So, the Citadel format is a bit convoluted, even for the Amazon Prime world. The series is going with a new story, new characters, new location, same organization's approach to the series. In season 1, we got Richard Madden, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Stanley Tucci, and Leslie Manville. This one was filmed in the UK, Spain, Morocco, Slovenia, Serbia, and Valencia, Spain. Season 2 is called Citadel Diana and is set in Milan, Italy. It stars Matilda De Angelis, Lorenzen Servasio, and Maurizio Lombardi. Season 3 takes us to India and stars Varun Dhawan and Samantha Ruth Prabhu. Season 3 premieres on November 7th, 2024. So, this is the anthology approach we talked about as a possibility for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It will be fun to see where they take us next. Do they go to Japan, China, or maybe Africa for the next one? We think this is a fun way to do a series. All right, so those are the spy series we know have been renewed. Let's move on to some others. In industry news, a request from the Prince of Wales. Here's a fun one. Will Prince William get his request met? According to an article on Variety.com, Prince William approached filmmaker Paul Greengrass about the Bourne series. As a BAFTA and Royal African Society event, the Prince went up to Greengrass and asked, "Another Bourne, please." Greengrass laughed and shook his head. "Not for me. They need somebody younger. I've done my bit." Greengrass later said, via The Independent, "But I hope they get somebody great and young to do it. I think they're in the process." As we told you above, Edward Berger has been hired to direct Bourne 6. So we'll have to see if the Prince gets his wish. It's all about the stunts. All right, this one isn't about a spy movie, but it is something we know that we like. No spy action movie can be done without stunt performers. We have an episode talking with stuntman Rick English about his work on spy movies and the Batman series. Well, Marv Films, which is Matthew Vaughn's company, is creating a 4-part movie series called Stunt Nuts. Okay. We love this title, not just for what it says, but that it is a palindrome like Tenet was. Stunt Nuts. All right. Anyway, the series will bring in well-known actors and intermingle them with stunt performers. For instance, Chris Hemsworth's regular stunt double is Bobby Holland-Hanton. They are shown together in this movie. The premise is that a group of athletes need to raise funds to save the gym where they train. They use their stunt skills by hiring themselves out as stunt performers. According to Matthew Vaughn in an article on Deadline.com, the whole fun of the film is that the stunt artists will be joined by various big-name stars, and they are the supporting artists supporting the stunt artists who are the stars of the film. Okay. We think this is a great concept and will give some exposure to a group of performers who we have all seen and appreciated their work, but didn't know who they were. All right, that brings us to our in memoriam, where we acknowledge the passing of spy movie talent. Alvin Rakoff. Prolific director Alvin Rakoff has passed at the age of 97. Among his over 100 credits on IMDb, Rakoff directed Roger Moore in an episode of The Saint, and then directed him in the movie Crossplot. Rakoff was probably best known for directing the TV movie A Voyage Round My Father, starring Laurence Olivier. According to an article on Variety, it was Rakoff who recommended Connery for the role of Bond after 007 producer Albert R. Cubby Broccoli called the director to ask his opinion. John Ashton, the actor best known for playing John Taggart in the Beverly Hills Cop movie, John Ashton passed at 76. Spy movie fans may know him as the FBI director in Making a Deal with the Devil and Marvin Goffler in Midnight Run. Tom, our Tom, met Ashton at a bar in the Caribbean and says he was a very nice, humble, and great guy to talk with. Kris Kristofferson. Academy Award nominee, actor, and musical artist Kris Kristofferson passed at the age of 88. Kristofferson is probably best known for his performance in Blade, Blade 2, and A Star is Born, but he had 118 credits on IMDb. Spy movie fans may know him from his portrayal of Bobby Logan in the 1984 movie Flashpoint. John Lasell. Actor John Lasell died at the age of 95. Among his many roles, Lasell played a State Department official in the Hitchcock espionage movie Topaz. He also played Winston Walding in an episode of the Mission Impossible TV series and was in 6 episodes of the 1966 to 1971 series The FBI and 1 episode of I Spy. Nicholas Pryor. Prolific actor Nicholas Pryor, probably best known for his role as Joel's father in Risky Business, has died at the age of 89. Of his 173 acting credits, Pryor played Secretary of State Jack Douglas in the 1996 movie Executive Decision. Bob Yerkes. Stuntman Brayton Walter Bob Yerkes passed at the age of 92. He performed in numerous movies and television shows. He has performed stunts in Star Wars, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and more. Spy movie and TV fans will have seen him in the TV movie Assassin and the 1985 movie Remo Williams. The adventure begins. Robert Watts. British producer Robert Watts passed at the age of 86. The 1980s was a very successful decade where Watts produced hit after hit. Some of those included Star Wars V, The Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was also the second assistant director on the James Bond movie Thunderball in 1965. All right, that's a wrap. You are now caught up with all the spy movie news you need to know over the last month. This has been Dan from SpyMovieNavigator.com and our podcast show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. Please help us out and subscribe to our show through your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.